hits are usually where mine rests.
I mean,
Habits,
it's
my friend.
immediately just put my hand down. It's just like playing a game. So, welcome to Beer Protocol. Hi Jake. How are you
Hi,
doing today?
hi, James. What are you drinking?
Rum and Coke. And I'm almost out of rum, so I'm gonna have to go get some either rum or pick up whiskey or something.
What adventure? I am continuing on with Old Busthead's Caramel Macchiato Stout. Still very sweet, still very tasty.
You know who?
Still got that
Oh, hold on. Clink.
super delayed reaction on all accounts.
Yes. We're, t-
Clunk.
we're talking about the Beast.
Yeah, so we're continuing with our run through the X-Men and the Brotherhood of Mutants with an X-Man today, Beast, Hank McCoy.
Milwaukee's Beast. Oh wait, no, that's a beer. It's a really shitty beer.
Gonna let you stew on that one for a while. So, how much do you know about Beast from the comics or the movies or cartoons or really any sort of media he's appeared in?
He's hairy, blue, and smart.
He's very smart. He's very acrobatic, very athletic. I think one of the reasons I like the character attracted me because he was both good at punching people and very smart was just he had not only like an accent but just his diction, his elocation was
So,
always like very pronounced and different from other characters on the cartoon.
so he
Like
talked
he just
good. He talked good as he beat you, as opposed to Wolverine.
yes, and but he had I'm trying to think of little idiosyncrasies, and I think one of them's captured pretty well. Like he definitely had just like a different manner of sort of speech and carrying himself when he wasn't, punching people.
I mean, his character comes with a book.
It's true. And I feel like that is 100% the way you model him as he's reading a book while hanging onto something. So, Beast has 6 stamina, a medium move, he's size 3, and he is threat 3. With his defenses for 4 physical, 2 energy, and 3 mystic, that kind of gives him at least it's not an average across the board stat profile. He's
And
got a good amount of health.
yeah, going with our typical like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 type thing. He's has a role, but isn't like super overpowered. Like he kind of wants to do one thing ish.
Yeah, so we're expecting him to kind of specialize towards a specific role on the table. It is worth noting he has 2 energy defense. I'll bring this up again later. In certain matchups, this could actually be a big problem for him. But 4 physical defense means in certain other matchups, he will be surprisingly
Hmm.
sturdy. Okay. Um, his first attack, Acrobatic Strike, range 3, 5 dice, 0 cost. After its
Yep.
result, he gains power equal to the damage he's dealt. Pretty standard for a 0 cost attack, but he also has the ambush rule. What does that mean, James?
I don't even remember seeing this on another card, but basically after his attack resolve, he can be placed within 1 inch of the character or one
Yeah, 1 range increment.
range of the character. Um, I like it. It is a range 3 strike, which is a little bit better than your normal typical physical attack. Um, it makes him a little bit more mobile, and a 5 dice throw is not that horrible.
5 dice attack, not throw.
Yeah, throwing dice.
I
Oh,
know what you meant,
oh,
but throw is a thing.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, don't use that term. Okay, so 5 dice
Hmm.
roll is actually a thing.
No, it's a solid upper tier sort of physical attack. Very solid. His second physical attack is Animalistic Freestyle. Range 2, 6 dice for the attack, and 4 power cost. After this attack is resolved, the target character gains the Bleed special condition. And with a wild, he gets float like a
Dot dot dot.
before ruining my visual
I
gags.
know because sometimes we do audio.
Truly awful. Before damage is dealt, if the target character is size 3 or less, push him away short. And then after this attack is resolved, this character may advance medium.
Advance, advance.
Advance, yes. So this is interesting, and I think this kind of is highlighting where Beast's role is going to be. There's a lot of rules text on here.
All right, so
Um,
give me your impressions because I am not seeing where he fits in. Even with this, I'm not seeing it.
so My impressions come from a little bit of playtime with Beast, where he got roundly trounced on the tabletop, and I kind of realized, oh, Beast is not even a little bit a stand his ground fighter. Based on a little bit of play experience as well as his attacks and his rules on the card, I think Beast is a skirmisher. Beast is
Okay.
going to advance. He's going to hit something not particularly hard because even his powerful attack is only 6 dice for attack. Um, and there's no inbuilt damage boost on his card. So he tops off at 6. Like, he doesn't hit hard, but he's extremely mobile. His basic attack lets him sort of jump around the board, especially if he's attacking someone who's contesting a point. Beast couldn't quite get there with his medium movement, and now with his built-in teleport on ambush, he's sitting on top of the point. Or
Okay.
if he gets a decent amount of energy and he needs to get moving across the table, like if he's carrying a extract crisis token, he could use his acrobatic strike to build energy as well as jump somewhere else on the board. And then he could go into his second action with animalistic freestyle to get his medium movement, which he gets the movement regardless of what happens.
I can kind of see that. Um, my concern is there's other characters at 3 points that do things better. Like I can kind of
So,
see his role now that you're saying that, where he's like he's bouncing around the board an awful lot, but I feel that's also kind of a trap because you can get him really really far out and not be supported by anyone.
right. So let's look at the rest of his abilities. Baser Instincts for 2 power, choose an interactive terrain feature or an enemy character, both size 2 or less, and within range 2, and throw them short. Superpower can be used once per turn. This is a solid throw. A lot
Good
of
throw.
characters in the game, it's interactive terrain feature or an enemy. So this gives you the flexibility because a lot of the characters we reviewed lately can't do both. They can only do one or the other.
Magneto's little constructs or two.
They are. So you Beast can throw those at Magneto, which is humorous. Throw short means you don't have a lot to work with, but if you're in a close quarters, like say Beast has just leapt into the middle of a melee and he's got power to burn, yeah, he can throw some stuff around, do a good chunk of damage, and then skedaddle out.
You can also kind of
Um,
use this as a chain. So remember, you don't have to throw a character at something; you just throw it in a direction. So he could basically do acrobatic strike, teleport one past the character, spend 2 power because he's getting power from acrobatic strike, throw that
maybe.
character a little bit further forward, do acrobatic strike again, and then teleport again.
Mhm. His next ability is a reaction, Stars and Garters. Again, I did enjoy how they used the names of his abilities to sort of bring to mind the way he speaks. After this character rolls defense or dodge dice, it can spend up to 3 power to use a superpower. For each power spent, he can re-roll one of his defense or dodge dice.
Not bad.
It's
I
okay.
it's uh, I don't know how I feel about it.
It's
So
it's not a great defensive ability compared to some other things, which just flat out let you use a better number. But re-rolls can potentially be extremely powerful.
I mean, it does give you a little bit of flexibility. So like, even his two energy, if you take 2 hits, you're only spending two to re-roll those 2 dice. It does say up to, so you could roll 1 die if you wanted to.
Hmm.
But I mean, even if okay, so say he's being hit a physical attack. A lot of things are physical.
Hmm.
You're only re-rolling 3 of the dice if you have 3 power. Is that is that worth it? I mean, he's got 6 health.
I mean, it's also the trade Shuri will usually make. Is Shuri will spend her power, almost all of it, 1-to-1 to re-roll dice for people. Now
For
Shuri's more
people, yeah.
flexible because she can do it for all rolls. But 1 power for 1 reroll is a pretty standard sort of exchange rate in the game that we've seen across various effects. So it's it's not a standout feature like Sabretooth's counterattack ability we talked
Hmm.
about last episode, or someone like Modoc's defensive ability to negate wilds.
Yep.
Like, so it's is a nice add-on. It's a nice to have. I don't see this necessarily as being core to his ability set.
I mean, I really wish it was spend, you know, spend up to X and change blanks to something else, like a guaranteed. It's just
Yeah.
the reroll is kind of it seems lackluster.
I wish it was just Miles Morales or Spider-Man's get 2 for free.
Yeah, exactly.
It does not feel particularly great when there are characters who get free rerolls
Yeah, yeah.
and he has to pay for his. But he doesn't have spider sense.
And
Uh,
doesn't
he does have wall crawler.
is Miles 3?
Miles is 3.
So yeah, yeah.
Is Miles doing the same job as Beast? Probably not.
Mm, he's doing close to.
Mm.
He's that okay anyway. So he also has disconcerting yet provocative. Whenever this character rolls dice after the effect is resolved, you gain 1 power if you rolled at least 1 skull.
Yep. And then finally he has wall crawler, so he can ignore terrain when moving.
Yep.
So on his wounded side, are there any differences?
Not really.
1 less stamina.
1 less stamina.
Otherwise,
Powers
his
the
powers
same.
remain the same.
Yeah. I really wish that they changed animalistic to sting like and then did that, but nah.
Yeah. So I feel like Beast is another character where I was excited as I try to boost myself back into frame. I was excited for the character to be announced. I think the model is great. The
model's
actual
great.
rules for it are. I don't know if they're going to bounce off of us as hard as Bullseye did, because I think as a few people point out, even Bullseye has his uses. His ability to ignore cover on all of his attacks is actually getting more relevant
Does
with
he?
Storm and Magneto in the game.
Yes, yes. So with that, but it's super niche. It might become better later, but right now, Bullseye
Yeah.
is absolute garbage. Worse than Iron Man. Beast is good.
I don't think he's quite there, but I think Beast feels a little underwhelming. So my concern I had in my game, I didn't get as much time to really mess and see what he could do because with his 2 energy defense playing against defenders,
Oh
he
yeah,
got
that's a horrible idea.
he got dunked on by the entire enemy team. A 2 defense anywhere, unless you have some other defensive ability or a big health pool to back it up, means you have a vulnerability. Venom gets away with it because he has a counterattack and a
Mm-hmm.
potential healing ability, as well as a big enough health pool that he'll actually take enough damage, earn enough power, and then do both of those things. Beast has Venom's weakness without Venom's counteraction.
Yeah.
So on a 3 threat model, is that okay? It definitely doesn't feel as bad as if it was on a 4 or a 5 threat model. I think where Beast reminds me the most in terms of sort of role is a character on another affiliation, Ghost Spider, aka Gwen Stacy, on the Web Warriors affiliation, where her basic ability lets her move her long after she's already moved this turn.
Yep.
So I think the playstyle this develops into is a hit and run, where Beast opens the turn by getting into melee and then uses his attacks and abilities to get out of the fracas, potentially with an objective or having scored some other tactical goal by finishing off a weakened opponent or by otherwise grabbing something and running.
He seems like to me he wants to start off the round using animalistic freestyle to go and get that free advanced medium, and then basically do another medium to move away or something like that. I don't think doing a analytic freestyle at the end of the turn and moving even further forward, because this is advance, that
Well,
I don't see it being an advantage
again,
almost.
don't assume advance means you can move in any direction. Advance just means you're not push.
Yeah, I mean
Advance just means move.
it means
You don't have to go deeper in. You can go back.
yeah, but like if you go like you can't go over stuff, you can't. It's still like a walk. It's just that.
What are you talking about?
If you try to go over like a car, it goes down to a short.
No, it doesn't.
On an advance?
No, that's move. Advance is the same thing as taking the move action.
Yeah, but if you advance medium and try to go over a car, don't you go down to a short? Like if
If you
no,
don't
never
have,
mind. He
if
has
you
one
don't have wall crawler.
Yep. Nope. Yeah, you're right. He's got wall crawler. Ignore that. So
Now, granted, you don't. I don't think you get to use wall crawler for forced movement. So your opponent, if they like try to push Beast, he doesn't benefit from wall crawler.
Yeah,
But
but
since it's Beast's turn, it's his activation, it's during your turn, you get to use the full benefit of Beast movement abilities. So I was really confused.
no, you're right.
But
I was mistaken because I forgot he had a wall crawler.
I think where I think Beast differs a bit from Ghost Spider is where Ghost Spider's ability requires her to have already moved that turn to get her free movement action out of her basic attack. Beast has Acrobatic Strike with range 3, which is deceptively large, especially
Yeah.
if he's targeting something with a big base. He can, if he gets wild, dice are so fickle in this game. You cannot, as with everything, have a backup plan if you don't get that ambush off.
Mm-hmm.
But he could potentially open his turn by attacking, maybe make some energy, maybe put some damage on an opponent, or if he's going after someone weaker, maybe finish off an objective runner, get them to drop their objective. He is now teleported within 1 of the target. They've dropped the objective. Since you control where it goes, Beast can immediately scoop it up, and then he can either move, animalistic freestyle for the attack and move, or even just acrobatic strike again and hope for a second ambush. Although that feels like you might be getting greedy. But he has multiple ways of getting out of there. And
Yeah.
heck, if he lands next to terrain or another character and he's got 2 power left to burn, he can throw them.
If
Like
also the thing is that like if you're carrying say like herbs or something that drops you down to a short movement at just a short movement, uh, acrobatic strike does actually help you because it's a
mhm,
teleport. So you could
correct.
just like grab something, hit somebody, bounce past them, especially if it's like a large base character, because all you need is a wild. You don't actually have to do damage.
Right.
Um, and then you're further back towards your line. That's useful, but I'm still seeing like to me he seems like there's other characters you can take at 3 points that are better.
In that category, he's competing with Ant-Man,
Yeah.
who has extreme. Ant-Man and Wasp both have extreme movement shenanigans.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if he really holds up compared to what they can do. Now, in affiliation for the X-Men, they don't really have anyone comparable in terms of this specific role of the melee skirmish of going in and jumping out. So I think if you don't have enemies who have lots of energy attacks, in fact, if you're up against one of the recent teams with lots of physical attacks, like I think even Magneto was all physical. So I think Beast is actually pretty sturdy with his 4 defense, and especially his ability to get rerolls. And with disconcerting and provocative, generating energy off of skulls, he's getting a steady trickle of additional power, even if he fully defends.
You may.
His his freestyle costing 4 is a problem for me because
Hmm.
the attack itself doesn't do a lot of damage. Um, it does give bleed, which is nice, but that's a bonus. It's really the attack and move.
Yeah. I can see him removing anything that has counter strike or removing anything that has some type of bodyguard where he gets close enough where he can do the um throw somebody short. So get like basically, oh, I'm transferring. Red Skull transfers it over to so and so, and then he just goes, cool, just toss, and now you're no longer in bodyguard range. I can see him doing stuff like that, but I maybe late game, like when you're starting to get really close to where points are starting to get very, very fickle. Him being able to just jump across the field to a back objective, but then you're wasting him from an entire game at that point.
Again, I don't know if it's wasting because well, so his powerful attack is not a lot of dice. His basic attack with strike is 5 dice, which is on the high average
Hmm.
for physical attack damage. So he's going to do damage. And if he attacks often enough, he'll actually probably spike and do some serious damage. Like I think Josh was even pointing out in our BeerThralls text thread that Gamora with her 6 dice basic attack was like 1 and 2 shotting Wolverine and other characters left and right because of just dice spikes.
Yeah,
So again, keep rolling dice, and you may have things go really hard your way on a lucky roll. And with 5 dice as the base, that could actually happen. Like he's not pillow fisted at all. I just think his powerful attack, if you're spending 4 for it, it doesn't quite feel like it's doing enough. It's pushing stuff around a lot, and potentially a free push. We haven't really even talked about he could push someone,
Yeah.
and it is before damage is dealt. So that has some other shenanigans you could do. So he could really be solid option for breaking up a control point of pushing someone off of the point and then himself retreating, opening up the spot for one of his teammates to come in and contest on a following
Hmm.
activation. Especially if your opponent's already activated that character. Now that he moved up, advanced, took the point, Beast comes in, does a little bit of damage, shoves him back off the point, and then moves back to safety behind like a size 4 building or something.
I mean,
Because Beast is size 3, so he's not going to get cover from a lot of stuff.
I can see him being okay in, say, Brotherhood Mutants or in Avengers, just because of
Oh,
I can either get free power from destroying shit for Magneto, or it's basically a first power costs one less, which
well,
means Stars and Garters you can just do for 0 and get 1 die.
true. It also is worth noting, Beast is actually in the Avengers affiliation.
Hmm.
So he gets to benefit from Avengers Tactics cards like the free heal or the free short movement, which gives him even more potential options for moving around.
The free okay, so with that, that makes him a little bit better, getting it just a free short, um, 1 turn, because that does put him in shenanigan range to do things like animalistic freestyle multiple times. Um,
So yeah, I think Beast is going to be definitely one of the finesse pieces that's going to depend kind of a little bit on skill ceiling and also just kind of dice rolls to see if he really bounces around like the way you would hope so.
yeah, don't try to
There's
use him as Wolverine.
no, he is not a Wolverine, absolutely not. And the smell of dice is kind of all over Hank McCoy's card because you have wilds are required to use acrobatic strike's main feature. Um, you have stars and garters, which gives you rerolls. You have disconcerting, which only triggers if you roll skulls. There's a lot
Yep.
of dice rolling going on with Beast, so it's sometimes hard to see how that's going to coalesce onto the table.
I do love disconcerting yet provocative, because I love that
It's flavorful.
it gives you like a we're sorry this happened, and like here's a power for rolling your skull.
So I want to talk to wrap up Beast. We'll probably mention these again, but there are 3 X-Men specific tactics cards
Hmm.
released so far. I don't think we mentioned them for our Wolverine review. So we're going to go through them now that I've got them up. First up, Children of the Atom. An uncanny X-Men character may play this card. Remove all special conditions from that character. It gains 1 power for each special condition removed this way.
That's really nice.
This is a tactics card that A, costs nothing to play. There's not a lot of those. And B, actually gains you power.
Yep.
There's even fewer of those.
Especially when you're going
Um,
against somebody like what's the affiliation that just passes out conditions like crazy?
well, Defenders.
I mean, I thought Syndicate also maybe. Oh no, it was Green Goblins. Like they just like, oh, here's some stuff.
This is potentially really powerful if your opponent's counting on disables like Stagger
Hmm.
to lock down. I got a good play with Wolverine, where Wolverine was incinerated, hexed, bleeding, and I wiped all of them out and got 3 powerful Wolverine, which is enough to Berserker Barrage and throw somebody for literally just playing a card that costs no resources. It
Yeah.
in the right situation, it's a huge swing.
Yep. It's definitely something you should bring if you're playing X-Men. You should definitely bring it when you run against the affiliations that just want to give you a ton of conditions on you.
Yep, it's useful. Another card is First Class. At the start of the activation phase, an allied uncanny X-Men character may play this card. So this is start of the activation phase, so you don't have to have priority to play this at the start of the round.
Okay.
So you get a trigger to play it at the start of every round, and it costs nothing. Again, I really love that the X-Men Tactics cards don't cost resources. In fact, they gain or make things more efficient for you,
Hmm.
which is a very Avengers-like benefit. Each allied uncanny X-Men character does not have to spend power the first time they interact with an objective token this round.
Every
Every X-Men character, the first time they would interact, do not have to spend power. It's honestly worth considering doing, depending on the crisis, round one, because then you can run up and grab like 3 extract
Hammers.
hammers, go out and grab the hammers without spending power. Going into round two now with a solid power pool
I
of
mean,
at least 2 or more per character.
hey, anything that has the you have to roll to see if it's a Krull, not Krull, Kree,
Scroll,
a Skrull,
Kree,
whatever it was. One
Scree.
one of the aliens. To see if it's the if it's one of those. Like just doing a free interact is amazing because it's dice at that point.
Yeah. And remember as well, like kind of our thought for where Beast might be really good is if he can swoop in and grab power tokens and get out.
Yep.
Because he can swoop in, he's got this cost discount to grab whatever his opponent drops, and then he has that one power he could then put into animalistic freestyle to get his medium move to go out.
Still
So
getting 4
that
power on a when you're only sitting on 1 to begin the round is going to be kind of difficult, but yeah.
it's this is one of those cards where it's going to depend on this what you think you get done that round. That's why I kind of like the round one play because it feels like, especially if there's secure objectives that require
Mhm.
interaction, I feel like this could be a huge sort of resource swing towards the X-Men player. So another very solid tactic card. Finally, to me, my X-Men. A character with an uncanny X-Men leadership can spend any number of power to play this card. For each power spent to play this card, one allied uncanny X-Men can advance short toward this character. So it's kind of like a magnet pull. So
Ooh.
either Cyclops or Storm could pay 1 per ally, and then those allies can move short towards whoever played the card.
The
So
combination of those two is actually pretty nice. Where like if you can grab a couple different things and then pull them back,
mhm.
it costs 0, or it costs X
It
equal to
costs 1 per person moving.
because an out of activation movement is always nice.
Now this one has restrictions where it has to move towards whoever played the card. So depending on the board, that may or may not be helpful.
And it's still nice.
Um,
Yeah.
but it also helps that both Cyclops and Storm, the current people who could play this card, tend to be mid to backline
Mm-hmm.
characters. So yeah, if your goal is to like pull back from the middle, like say someone rushes up to grab an objective marker and you want to give them a little more space, it also is worth noting that the person playing this card does not have to be the active character. So you could use this to give some extra movement to the character during their activation. Like if Beast needs a little extra movement, or depending on how the board is set up, if Wolverine needs an extra short movement to get to his range 2 melee that your opponent wasn't counting on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's nice.
So I kind of like the Avengers version of this better, where you just pay 1 per person. They can do a free any direction advance, but you don't get everything for every affiliation.
Nope. Nope. It's still nice. It's just it's more thematic towards the X-Men.
Yeah. So I think the combination of energy with the X-Men cards are definitely worth using with Beast.
Yep.
I
Yep.
think I think the X-Men have some of the best tactics cards we've seen in a while for any given affiliation,
Oh no,
barring
free tactic cards are still amazing.
barring Magneto straight up. All of my friends and I could cover.
And then recycle.
I don't think I have any other points on Beast. If you guys
No.
have had a chance to play with them, or if you think we missed something, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, tell us how you think that like he should be played because like I said, I don't see I see what he kind of wants to do now with the way Jake was talking, but I don't really see why he does it better than say like any of the Spider people or like anyone else at 3 points. It
Yeah.
seems like it'd be better. So if you have any ideas, definitely pass them on.
Yep. My quick argument for why he'd be better than necessarily say some of the spider people is he gets to get that mobility while doing nothing but attacking, whereas they have to spend powers or use actions to move to
Hmm.
generate that mobility. I think the power here is Beast can make 2 solid physical attacks of 5 or 6 dice, again above average power, and get a lot of mobility while doing it. So
Yep.
if he's positioned well, Beast doesn't have to spend actions to move, and he's dealing consistent physical damage.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. And once again, if you would love to subscribe, that'd be great. And also follow us on Twitch. And also now we are in Across the Bifrost, if I'm getting that correctly.
Yes, we have joined the sort of Marvel Crisis Protocol podcast collective, if you will.
Yep. So jump over there and check us out there, and check out all the other wonderful creators that are basically doing the same thing we're doing, but maybe better. So anyway, thanks for watching. Game off.
Game off.